It's a beautiful night here at Lancer Stadium. Great night for football. Got the coin flip. Assumption deferred. They're defending the north goal, and North Scott will be receiving. Number 21, Jay Golden, will be kicking off. And number 28, Elliot Schlabach, fielded the ball about the 5-yard line. Returned it to the 30 for a return of about 25 yards. Bring up a first down for the Lancers at their own 30-yard line. The tackle on the play for the Knights, number 43, Jordan Sinkler. Jimmy DeFries will be the quarterback for the Lancers. We have a penalty flag down. The first play of the game tonight. In the backfield for the Lancers will be number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. Dead ball offsides against the Knight. It moves the ball out to the 35-yard line. It will be 1st and 5. DeFries, the pass to number 87 for the Lancers to Jake Murfield is good. He takes the ball to almost a 50-yard line, which is a first down. And Ryan Byrne in on the stop for the Knights. Last week, Assumption had a close game with Davenport North, and North Scott had a big win down at Burlington last week. Snap to DeFries. The pass to number 28, Elliot Schlabach, goes down the left side. He takes the ball to about the 24-yard line. And Ryan Byrne is in on the stop for the Knights on that play. A gain of about 26 yards on that play. It's a first down at the Knight 25-yard line. The handoff is to Connor Dahlstrom. He carries the ball down to the 20-yard line for a game of almost 5. So it'll be a second actually and 6 at the 20-yard line. The tackle on that last play was by Brady Frieden of the Knights. The snap back to DeFries. He throws out on the left side. Caught by Elliot Schlabach. He's taken down at the 13-yard line by Joe Daniel, number 85 of the Knights. It'll be first down at the 14-yard line with 10-12 to go in the first quarter. The snap to DeFries. He handed off to Dahlstrom, but we had a flag on the play before it started. Again, it is a dead ball offsides on the Knights. And that'll move the ball 5 yards down to the 9-yard line, which will make it first down and 5 at the 9-yard line for the Lancers. The snap to DeFries. Throws out on the flat to number 47, Blake Anderson, and he runs it in for the touchdown. It's a 9-yard pass from Jimmy DeFries. And North Scott gets on the scoreboard first. At the 9:43 mark of the first quarter. And then on the snap, or the extra point, it's Connor Dahlstrom's the kicker. Mike Cranston is a holder for the North Scott. The kick is up. And the kick is no good. It was wide right. So at 9:43 of the first period, the Lancers get on the board first, leading 6-0. Sean Finn is going to be kicking off for the Lancers. Correction, that was Austin Miller. The snap, the kick is dropped at the 10-yard line, where the Knights will take over 1st and 10. Knights come to the line. Handoff to number 32. He goes around the left side almost to the 30-yard line. And it's number 22, Ryan Byrne. A pickup of 20 yards, actually 19-yard. But it'll be first down at their own 29-yard line. Stop on the play for the Lancers, number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. The snap back to Finn. The pass is complete to number 22, Ryan Byrne, and he takes the ball inside the Lancer 25-yard line, at the 25-yard line, where it'll be a first down and 10 for the Knights in Lancer territory. Tackle on the play by Elliot Schlebach and Ethan Russ. Number 43, the ball carrier, Jordan Sinkler, and he is stopped on the play by number 28 of the Lancers, Elliot Schlebach. A pickup of 7 yards, takes the ball to the 18-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and 3. Handoff to number 43, Jordan Sinkler. He tries the right side. He is stopped by P.J. Mills, the Lancers, for a loss. Back to the 20-yard line, where it'll bring up a 3rd down and 5 at the North Scott 20-yard line. Finn's pass complete to number 7, Tom Carroll of the Knights, and he takes the ball down to the North Scott 9-yard line, where it's 1st and goal with 7:52 to go in the first period. And the stop for the Lancers, number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. So it's 1st and goal at the 9 for the Assumption Knights. We have a timeout. Timeout is charged to Davenport Assumption, their first of the half. So it's 7:35 to go in the first period. Score North Scott 6 and Assumption 0. Okay, Assumption has the ball at the 9-yard line. And Finn hands off to number 2, goes around the left side. That is Jake Aldrich. He stopped on a play by Ethan Russ of the Lancers for a gain of 3 yards. Brings up 2nd and 6 for the touchdown. Again, Finn back to pass. Pass goes incomplete in the end zone. It was intended for number 7, Tom Carroll. He'd bring us up a 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. Connor Dahlstrom, number 30, had the coverage for the Lancers in the last tackle. Finn again back to pass. Pass was intended for number 85, Joe Daniel, and that fell off his hands, incomplete. So it will bring up a 4th and goal from the 6-yard line. And it appears we're going to try field goal. The kicker is number 21 is Jake Golden. And the holder on the play is Jake Aldrich. Snap is back. Kick is up. And the kick is good by Jay Golden. That makes the score Northcott 6 and Assumption 3 with 7:15 to go in the first period. Travis Anderson and Elliot Schlayback are back to receive the kick. Kickoff for the Knights, number 21, Jay Golden. The kick is up. Schlayback fields it on the 2-yard line. And Schlayback carries it out to the 27-yard line for a return of about 25 yards. Number 43, Jordan Sinkler, and number 84, Joe Matson, in on the stop for the Knights. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Lancers now at their 27-yard line. Dahlstrom is still in the backfield for the Lancers. Snap to DeVries. Handoff is to Dahlstrom. And Dahlstrom carries the ball to the 30-yard line for a gain of 3. Tackle on the play, number 51, Drew Sheeter for the Knights. So it'll be 2nd and 7 from the 30-yard line. We have a flag on the play before the snap for a delay of game. That'll penalize the Lancers 5 yards. Move the ball back to their Lancer 25-yard line, where it will be 2nd and 12 for the Lancers at their own 25. Snap back to DeVries. Connor Dahlstrom, ball carrier. And he fights his way over just over the 35-yard line. That was nearly a 14-yard gain for Dahlstrom. It brings up a 3rd and 2 for the Lancers at their own 35-yard line. Snap back to DeFries. Hands the ball off to Connor Dahlstrom. He goes over the left side, crosses the 40 to the 42-yard line. And that picks up a first down. And it'll be North Scott, 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line with 5:19 to go in the first quarter. Stop on the play for the Knights. Number 43 is Jordan Sinkler. Snap to DeFries. Handoff is to Elliot Schlabach. And he slips as he turns the corner, and he's stopped on the play by Jake Aldridge for a gain of 2. So bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Lancers at their own 44-yard line. Number 2, Jake Aldridge, in on the stop for the Knights. Again, we have a penalty flag. North Scott is penalized 5 yards for illegal motion. So it'll be 2nd and 13 at their own 38-yard line. The snap to DeFries, drops back to pass. This pass intended for number 47, Blake Anderson, and that fell incomplete. It brings up a 3rd and 14 at the 39-yard line. Snap is back to DeFries. He's back to pass. Nearly stopped in the backfield. He's running on the left side. He crosses the 50-yard line to the Assumption 49, just short of the first down for a gain of about 12 yards. But it'll bring up a 4th down and 1 at the Assumption 49. And in on the stop, number 51, Drew Sheeter of the Knights. Number 51, Billy Dittmer, is back to punt for the Lancers. And that was fielded at the 8-yard line. Number 22 returned that, Jay Byrne, and returned it to the 30-yard line. A return of about 22 yards, where the Knights will take over 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. And in on the stop for the Lancers, number 56, Nick Hubner. And Finn is back, drops back to pass. Passes out in the flat to number 85, Joe Daniel. And he takes the ball to the 43-yard line. It's a gain of 13 yards. Where he is stopped by number 47, Blake Anderson. It'll be a 1st down for the Knights at their own 43-yard line. Finn hands off to number 43, Jordan Sinkler. And he runs the ball to the North Scott 44-yard line, which is another Knight first down with 2:53 to go in the first period. Jake Aldridge pitches the ball to number 43, Jordan Sinkler, around the right side. He takes the ball to the 39-yard line, which is a game about 4 yards. Brings up a 2nd and 6 from the Lancer 39-yard line. Finn back to pass out to the right flat to Luke Bieber, goes incomplete. And that will bring up a 3rd and 6 from the 39. Finn is back in the shotgun. He hands off to number 23, John Jacobs. Correction, it was number 22, Ryan Byrne. He takes the ball just inside the 35-yard line, and he is stopped on the play by number 21, Tanner Anderson. And it is 4th and 1 at the North Scott 35-yard line. Finn's handoff. To number 43, Jason Sinkler. He carries the ball 4 yards to the Lancer 31-yard line, which is good for the Assumption first down. It's 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Jacob Murfield in on the stop for the Lancers. Finn back to pass. It was intended for number 2, Jake Aldridge, which fell incomplete. Finn was bothered in the backfield by Jake Murfield. Schlayback and Anderson in on the coverage for the Lancers. It'll be 2nd now and 10 from the North Scott or 31-yard line. Finn hands off to number 43, Jordan Sinkler. He takes the ball down to the Lancer 28-yard line for a gain of 3. Brings up a 2nd and 7 at the North Scott 28-yard line. Number 89, P.J. Mills in on the stop there for North Scott. Mills takes the snap, and he is stopped in the backfield by number 59, Carl Marple, and that's a loss of 2 yards. So it'll bring up a 4th and 11 for the Knights at the North Scott 32-yard line. And that is the end of the first period with the score North Scott 6 and Assumption 3. 11 situation from the 31-yard line. And Finn snaps back to him, to Finn, and his pass intended for number 2, Jake Aldridge, and that fell incomplete. North Scott is held, and they'll take over the ball 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line. with 11:54 to go in the second period. Again, it is just a beautiful night here at Lancer Stadium for a ball game. The weather couldn't be any better at this time of the year. DeFries takes the snap from center, keeps the ball himself and goes to the right side, where he is stopped after a short gain to the 33-yard line, and he is stopped by number 85, Joe Daniel, and number 53, Sean Jervis. Brings up a 2nd and 9 for the Lancers. DeFries awaiting the snap. Handoff is to Dahlstrom. Dahlstrom crosses the 45 to the 49-yard line, and that will be good enough for the Northcott first down, just short of the 50-yard line. Number 22, Ryan Byrne, in on the stop for the Knights. Snap back to DeFries. Hands off to Connor Dahlstrom, number 30. He moves the ball down to the Assumption 47-yard line for a gain of 3 yards. It'll bring up a 2nd and 7 from the Assumption 47-yard line. In on the stop, well, we had a number 12 in the game, but we have no name for that player. Snap back to DeFries. He's dropping back to pass. His pass downfield to the number 28, Elliot Schlabach. He catches the ball at about the 20-yard line, goes out of bounds at the 19-yard line, which will be a first down at the Assumption 19-yard line. And number 22, Ryan Byrne, was in on the stop there on Schlabach. Snap to DeFries. DeFries keeps the ball himself around the left side, and he takes the ball down to the Assumption 8-yard line, where he is stopped by number 7, Adam Netwall. Excuse me, that's number 7 for the Knights, Tom Carroll, preventing the touchdown. It'll be a 1st and goal at the Assumption 8-yard line with 9:45 to go in the second period. Snap to DeFries. He hands off to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. Goes for a short gain, if any. It'll be a 2nd and goal at the 8-yard line. And in on the stop for the Knights, number 53, Sam Jervis. Snap back to DeFries. He pitches to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom, who tries to run around the right side. He is stopped for little or no gain. And he is stopped by number 22, Ryan Byrne. And it'll be 3rd and goal for the Lancers at the 7-yard line. We have a timeout. That timeout will be charged to North Scott. It's their first timeout of the first half. So up North Scott, 3rd and goal here at the 7-yard line. Snap back to DeFries. The pass intended for number 11, Travis Anderson, and that fell incomplete. So it'll be 4th and goal from the 7-yard line. And Connor Dahlstrom will be in to attempt the field goal. And the holder, number 10, Mike Cranston. And Blake Anderson is a snapper. We had a fake. And number 10, Mike Cranston, tried to run the ball in and was stopped just short of the goal line. And in on the stop, preventing the touchdown, number 53, Sam Jervis. We have an injury timeout on the field, but Assumption will take over 1st and goal at their 1-foot line. Excuse me, 1st and 10 from the 1-foot line. Assumption takes over at their own 1-foot line with 8:01 to go in the second quarter. We have a penalty flag down before the snap, and it's illegal motion on the part of the Assumption Knights, which moves the ball back not very far, but half the distance to the goal. Quarterback Sean Finn hands off at 43, Jordan Sinclair. He gained 2 yards to the 3-yard line. He was stopped on the play by number 89, P.J. Mills. So it brings up a 2nd and 8 for the Knights at their own 3-yard line. Finn's back, he hands off. And they try the left side for a short gain. Ball carrier is number 22, Ryan Byrne, and he is stopped on the play by number 87 of the Lancers, Jake Murfield. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 6 at the Knight 5-yard line. Finn pitches to number 21, who quick kicks. And that ball rolls down to the Lancer 48-yard line, where the Lancers will take over 1st down at the Knight, actually the Knight 49-yard line, to be 1st and 10 with 6:35 remaining in the second period. Jimmy DeFries brings him to the line. He's got two guys out on the right flat. Snap to DeFries. He pitches to number 47, Blake Anderson, and he runs the right side where he is run out of bounds at the Knight 46-yard line for a gain of about 3 yards. DeFries keeps the ball himself and is sacked on the play by number 85, Joe Daniel. And that'll be a loss of about 9 yards. Moves the ball back to the North Scott 45-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and 16 at their own 45-yard line of the Lancers. DeFries drops back to pass. Pass to number 47. Blake Anderson. Excuse me, that's number 41. Chris Boyson. And he took the ball down to the Assumption 40-yard line, where we'll bring up a 4th and 1 for the Lancers. We have a timeout on the field, charged to North Scott with 5:13 remaining in the second period. Who's back to kick? We have a 4th and 1 at the Knight 40-yard line. North Scott is back to punt. Number 58, Tom Hofstetter. Punt rolls down to the Assumption 8-yard line, where Assumption will take over 1st and 10 at that point. We have a 5 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the second period. Sean Finn takes a snap, hands off to number 43, Jason Sinkler. And Sinkler runs around the left side out to the 11-yard line, which is a gain of 3. Brings up a 2nd down and 7 from the 11. In on the stop for the Lancers, number 89, P.J. Mills. Finn's pass, it intended for number 2, Jake Aldridge, just off his hands, falls incomplete. Connor Dahlstrom in on the coverage for the Lancers. Brings up a 3rd and 7 for the Knights from their 11-yard line. Snap back to Finn. The ball is loose. The signal is that the Lancers have recovered the fumble, the Knight fumble, at the 8-yard line of the Knights. and that was fumbles recovered by number 89 of North Scott, P.J. Mills. So North Scott will take over first and goal from the Knight 8-yard line. Snap to DeFries. Handoff is to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom, and he takes it into the end zone on the left side for the Lancer touchdown. Touchdown at 4:11 of the second period. It's the score of the North Scott 12 and Assumption 3. And Dahlstrom will be back to kick the extra point. And the holder will be number 10, Mike Cranston. And the snapper is number 47, Blake Anderson. Snap is back. The kick is up, and it is good. With 4:11 to go in the second period, North Scott is at 13 and Assumption with 3. Number 3, Austin Miller to kick for the Lancers, and back to receive number 22, Ryan Byrne, and number 2, Jake Aldridge. And number 2, Jake Aldridge returned the kick, and he was stopped on the play by number 28, the Lancers, Elliot Schlabach, at the 24-yard line, where Assumption will take over, 1st and 10. North Scott came into the game with a 5-1 record, and the Assumption Knights came into the game with a 3-3 record. Snap back to Finn. Handoff is to number 2, Jake Aldridge, and he runs around the right side. He takes the ball to the Knight 22-yard line. We'll bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Knights at their own 27-yard line. Sean Finn back to pass. Pass out to the flat number to number 6 is complete. He is run out of bounds by number 24, Ethan Russ. That's a gain of 6 yards. Will bring up a 3rd and 1 from the 33-yard line. Snap back to Finn. His handoff is to number 22, Ryan Byrne, and he runs the ball to the 35-yard line, where it appears to be in a 1st down for Assumption, and they will take over 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line with 3:34 remaining in the half. The handoff to number 43, Jordan Sinclair, and he is stopped on the play by number 87, Jake Murfield, for no gain. Brings up a 2nd and 10 at the Knight 35-yard line. Snap back to Finn, and he throws out the flat to number 2, Jake Aldridge. The catch takes him to the 42-yard line for a gain of 7 yards. Brings up a 3rd down and 3 at the Knight 42. Finn back to pass. Pass intended for number 85, Joe Daniel, just off his fingertips. Brings up a 4th and 3 for the Knights from their own 42-yard line. Apparently the Knights are going to punt. Jake Aldridge is back to do the punting for the Knights. And the ball goes to the North Scott 28-yard line where it is down by the Knights. North Scott will take over 1st and 10 at that point, with 2:51 to go in the half. Jimmy DeFries back for the Lancers. The snap, he drops back to pass. Passes out to number 28, Elliot Schlabach, where he is run out of bounds at the 28-yard line for little or no gain on the play. Brings up a 2nd and 10 from the North Scott 28. Joe Daniel was in on the stop for the Knights. DeFries handoff to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. He runs around the right side for a short gain. He picks up 6 yards, where it'll be a 3rd and 4 from the North Scott 34-yard line. DeFries gets the snap. The handoff is to Dahlstrom, and he steps outside and takes the ball down to the Assumption 40-yard line, which appears to be a 1st down. He is stopped by number 46, Ryan Langford of the Knights, but it was enough for the Lancers' 1st down at their own 40-yard line, with 1:51 to go in the half. Snap back to DeFries. His pass out on the right flat, intended for number 47, Blake Anderson, and that falls incomplete. In on coverage, number 2 for the Knights, Jake Aldridge. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 for the Lancers from their 40, with 1:37 to go in the half. Jimmy DeFries, his handoff to Connor Dahlstrom, but there is a whistle and a flag on the play. And it's an illegal procedure penalty against North Scott, which will move the ball back another 5 yards. Take the ball back to the 35-yard line, where it will be 2nd and 15, with 1:36 to go in the quarter. DeFries out to the right side. His pass is intercepted by number 2, Jake Aldrich, and he returns the interception back to the Lancers 27-yard line, or Assumption will take over 1st and 10 with 1:26 to go in the half. And the stop on the play for the Lancers, number 71, Zach Hahn. But the Knights have a first down. The North's got 27 with 1:26 to go. Snap back to Finn. He's going to throw out to the right side. His pass to number 22, Ryan Byrne. Caught, and that's for a short gain to the 25-yard line, which will bring up a 2nd and 8. Finn again back to pass. This pass intended for number 85, Joe Daniel, and he was hit just as the ball got there by Elliot Schlabach. And that will bring up a 3rd and 7 situation for the Knights. From the North got 25 with 59 seconds remaining in the half. We have a timeout on the field. Timeout charge to Assumption, their 2nd of the half. We have a 3rd and 8 here from the North got 25-yard line. Finn's back to pass, and his pass is caught out in the right flat by number 2, Jake Aldridge, and that's very close to the first down. It is a Knight first down at the North Scott 17-yard line, 18-yard line, with 54 seconds to go in the half. Snap back to Finn. He rolls to his left. Pass out there to number 22 is caught. And he takes the ball down to the North Scott 10-yard line for a gain of 8 yards. We'll bring up a 2nd and 2 with 34 seconds to go. Finn catches the snap and throws it into the ground to stop the clock with 27 seconds to go. It'll be 3rd down and 3 when play resumes with 27 seconds left. They always do. Assumption has the ball here with 27 seconds to go at the North Scott 10-yard line, where it's 3rd and 3. Pitch back to Penn, and he is caught in the backfield back at the 18-19-yard line for a loss by number 89, P.J. Mills. And that was a loss of 8 yards. And this will bring up a 4th and 11 at the North Scott 18-yard line with 20 seconds to go in the half. Back to attempt the field goal, number 21, Jay Golden, from about the 25-yard line. The holder's number 2, Jake Aldridge. And the kick is up. And the kick is good. So with 15 seconds to go in the first half, the score is North Scott 13, the Assumption Knights 6, and the kickoff will resume shortly. So with 15 seconds to go in the half, number 21, Jay Golden, will be kicking off for the Knights, and back to receive for the Lancers, number 28, L.H. Schlabach, and number 11, Travis Anderson. Kick is to Schlabach on his own 6-yard line. Slayback moves the ball across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. So a run back of about 22 yards. And he is stopped by number 54 of the Knights, Jeremiah Watson. The Lancers will take over 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line with 8 seconds remaining in this first half. DeVries takes the snap and just takes a knee. And that will end our first half with the score Northcott 13 and the Assumption Knights 6. Start the second half here. Austin Miller will be kicking off for the Lancers as Assumption deferred in the first half. And back to receive for the Knights are number 2, Jake Aldridge, and number 22, Ryan Byrne. And Byrne fields the kickoff at the 10-yard line. He returns it to the 20-yard line for a return of 10 yards, where Assumption will take over 1st and 10. And in on the stop for the Lancers, number 54, Adam Murphy. It's a beautiful night again here at Northcott High School. They put in a new track. Beautiful track. I guess at the end of the football season, they're going to tear out the infield and have a new surface here by next year. Finn's handoff is to Jake Eldridge. Aldridge, number 2. And he is stopped by number 28, Elliot Slayback, and number 21, Tanner Anderson. It was a gain of 2. Move the ball out to the 22-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and 8 from their own 22. Sean Finn is the quarterback. He hands off to number 22, Sean Byrne. And Byrne runs around the right side, takes the ball up to the Knight 40-yard line, which will be good enough for a 1st and 10, gain of 18 yards. He's stopped by Elliot Slayback, number 28 of the Lancers. It's actually 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. Where Finn is under center. His handoff is number 43. That's Jordan Sinkler. And he picks up 1 yard to the 40-yard line, which will bring up a 2nd and 9 for the Knights at their 40. In on the stop for the Lancers, number 59, Kyle Marple. And Finn hands off to number 22, Ryan Byrne. And he runs around the left side. Takes the ball to the 45-yard line for a gain of 5. Brings up a 3rd and 4 at their own 45-yard line. And then a stop for the Lancers, number 28, Elliot Slayback. Finn drops back to pass. And his pass was intended for number 7, Tom Carroll, but it was knocked down by number 87 of the Lancers, Jake Murfield. And that brings up a 4th down and 4 for the Knights from their 45-yard line. Number 21 will be back for the punt, Jay Golden. And back for the Lancers is number 28, Elliot Slayback, and number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. And Golden's kick is fielded by Slayback at the 10-yard line. And Slayback returns the punt to the Northcott 29-yard line, a return of 19 yards where the Lancers will take over 1st and 10 at their own 29-yard line with 9:26 to go in the third period. Number 51, Drew Sheeter, in on the stop for the Knights. Jimmy DeFries is the quarterback for the Lancers. Connor Dahlstrom's in the backfield with him. And the handoff goes to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. A gain of 1 yard on that play. It'll be 2nd and 9 at the 30. In on the stop for the Knights is number 54, Jeremiah Watson. Number 11, Travis Anderson, is split right. Snap to DeFries. He hands off to Dahlstrom, number 30. And Dahlstrom for a short gain to the 32-yard line for a gain of 2. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 7 at the 32-yard line. And in on the stop for the Knights, number 42, Brady Frieden. Jimmy DeFries back for the snap. We have a flag down. Delay of game against the Lancers. And that will move the ball back 5 yards. And that'll move the ball back to the 27-yard line, where it'll be third and 12 from the North Scott 27-yard line. Anderson and Schlebach are split left and right. The snap to DeFries. He's back to throw. And his throw out to number 47, Blake Anderson. He broke a tackle, and Anderson's going to go in for the score. Touchdown by Blake Anderson. With 7:42 to go in the third period, DeFries' pass to Blake Anderson covered some 65 yards or more. So Connor Dahlstrom lines up for the point after. The holder, number 10, Mike Cranston. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So it's 7:42 to go in the third period. North Scott 20, and Davenport Assumption 6. Austin Miller, number 3, will be back to kick for the Lancers, kick off for the Lancers, and back to receive for the Knights. Jake Aldridge and Ryan Byrne. The kick goes to Byrne at his own 10-yard line. He breaks a few tackles, and Byrne moves across the 30-yard line. It was a return of about 20 yards where Assumption will take over 1st and 10 at their own 30. And in on the stop for the Lancers, number 58, Tom Hofstetter. Sean Finn, the quarterback, his handoff to number 2, Jake Aldridge. And Aldridge is stopped for a loss. He tried the left side. He was stopped by number 47. Blake Anderson was a loss of 2 yards back to the 28. It'll bring up a 2nd and 12 for the Knights at their own 28-yard line. Sean Finney's back to pass. His pass intended for number 46 is caught. It was good enough for the first down. It was a 13-yard gain to the 40-yard line, where to be a first down for the Knights with 6:55 to go in the half. In the third quarter. Tackle on the play, number 28, Elliot Schlebach. Finn hands off to number 22. Ryan Byrne is stopped by number 47 of the Lancers, Blake Anderson, for a 2-yard gain. Brings up a 2nd and 8 at the Knight 42-yard line. Dan Tomsha is split wide right. And Finn's handoff to number 43 goes for a 1-yard loss. That was number 43, Jordan Sinkler, on the carry for a loss of 1. Brings up a 3rd and 9 for the Knights at their 41. In on the stop for the Lancers, number 87, Jacob Murfield. Snap back to Finn. He's back to pass. His pass is intended for number 7, Tom Carroll. And that was a catch down to the 32-yard line of the Lancers for a first down. In on the stop for the Lancers, number 24, Ethan Russ. The Knights have a first down at the Northcott 32-yard line. Finn again back to pass. Pass was a screen pass intended for number 42. Ryan Frieden falls incomplete. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10 from the Lancer 32-yard line. Tom Carroll is split wide right, and Ryan Langford is split left. Finn back to pass. His pass intended for number 2 fell incomplete, but we do have a flag down on the play. The indication is pass interference against North Scott. And that will be a 15-yard penalty. And that takes the ball down to the North Scott 16-yard line, where Assumption will have a first down with 4:57 remaining in the third quarter. Finn back to pass. Actually, he hands off to number 22, Ryan Byrne. And Byrne, a short gain across the 15-yard line, just inside the 15-yard line. Correction, they moved it to the 13, where the Knights will have a 2nd and 7. Stopped by number 40, Tyler Johnson of the Lancers. Finn back in the shotgun. His pass is intercepted by number 10 of the Lancers, Mike Cranston, in the end zone. The Lancers will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Perkins and Netwall are split to the right. The snap to DeFries. He hands off to number 5, Antonio Perkins. And he runs the ball across the 25-yard line to the 26 for a gain of 6 yards. Stop on the play for the Knights, number 42, Brady Frieden. Will bring up a 2nd and 4 at the North Scott 26. We have an official's time on the field. An equipment problem. DeVries takes the snap. Hands off to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom, and he was stopped in the backfield. A loss of 2 yards back to the 24-yard line by number 53 of the Knights, Sam Jervas. So it brings up a 3rd and 6 situation for North Scott at their own 24-yard line. Adam Netwall is split wide right for the Lancers. And the handoff is to Connor Dahlstrom up the middle. He carries the ball across the 26 to the 27, where it'll be a 4th and 3 at their own 24-yard line for North Scott. Number 51, Drew Sheeter, in on the stop for the Knights. And back to punt for the Lancers, number 58, Tom Hofstetter. And back to receive for the Knights, number 22, Ryan Byrne, and number 2, Jake Aldridge. Byrne takes the ball at the 38-yard line, dropped it, picked it up, and returned it to the 44-yard line for a return of 5 yards. Assumption will take over. 1st and 10 at their own 44-yard line with 2:16 to go in the 3rd quarter. And number 80, Chris Ayama, and number 64, Jeremiah Clark, in on the stop for the Lancers. Quarterback Sean Finn hands off to number 22, Ryan Byrne. He tries the right side for little or no gain. He'll bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Knights at their own 45. And on the stop for the Lancers, number 21, Tanner Anderson. Sean Finney back to pass. Pass is deflected at the line of scrimmage by number 87, Jake Murfield of the Lancers. And that will bring up a 3rd and 10 situation for the Knights from their 45-yard line. Finn's handoff to number 22, Ryan Byrne. Stopped by number 87, Jake Murfield. A gain of 3 yards. It'll bring up a 4th and 7 situation for Assumption at their own 48-yard line. And back to do the punting for the Knights, number 21, Jay Golden. And back to receive, number 28, Elliot Schlebach, and number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. We have a flag on the field. We have a legal procedure call against the Knights. Move the ball back 5 yards to the Knight 44-yard line, where it'll be 4th and 11 with 54 seconds remaining in the third period. Golden's punt is caught by Connor Dahlstrom at the 20-yard line. He's up across the 35 to the 36-yard line for a 16-yard return. In on the stop for the Knights, number 42, Brady Frieden. And North Scott will take over at their own 36, 1st and 10, with 34 seconds remaining in the third period. DeVries back in the shotgun. He keeps the ball himself, goes up the middle, and crosses the 40 to the 43-yard line, 42-yard line, for a gain of about 7 yards, which will bring up a 2nd and 3 for the Lancers. Ryan Byrne was in on the stop for the Knights in that play, and that ends the third period. We're heading into the fourth quarter with the score North Scott 20 and Davenport Assumption 6. Ready? North Scott has a new quarterback, number 4, Cody Monty, in replacing DeVries. Monty hands off to number 41, Chris Boyson. And Boyson picks up 2 to the 44. We have an Assumption player down on the field, so we have a timeout, injury timeout. It's 3rd and 2 for the Lancers. We had an injury timeout. Number 2, Jake Eldridge of the Knights, was the injured player. And Monty's handoff. Kept the ball himself and gained 1 yard to the 45. Will bring up a 4th and 1 situation for the Lancers from their own 45-yard line. In on the stop for the Knights, number 51, Drew Sheeter. The punting team coming in for the Lancers. Back to receive, number 22, Ryan Byrne, and number 46, Ryan Langford. And back to kick for the Lancers, to punt for the Lancers, number 58, Tom Hofstetter. Kicking from his own 35-yard line. Hofstetter's kick drives Ryan Byrne back to the 10-yard line. And he is met by a host of North Scott tacklers at the 11-yard line for a short return, where the Lancers will take over 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line. It's about a 54-yard kick for Hofstetter of the Lancers, with 10:37 to go in the fourth period. Finn under center, hands off to number 46, who tries the left side, breaks a number of tackles, and crosses the 25 to the 26-yard line for a 15-yard gain and a first down. In on the tackle for the Lancers, number 87, is Jake Murfield. So good enough for the first down for the Knights. Finn handoff. They try the right side for a short gain. The ball carrier, number 43. Jordan Sinkler was a gain of 3 yards. P.J. Mills and number 10, Mike Cranston, Tyler Johnson in on the stop for the North Scott. So it's a 2nd and 8 at the Knight 28. Finn's handoff up the middle to number 43, Jordan Sinkler. Picks up 2 yards to the 30-yard line, the 31-yard line. In on the stop for the Lancers, number 64, Jeremiah Clark. Brings up a 3rd and 5 situation for the Knights at their own 31-yard line with 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Finn back to pass. Pass intended. Great catch by number 7 of the Knights. Oh, they rule it was an incomplete. It went incomplete. It was a great effort by number 7, Tom Carroll. And that'll bring down a 4th and 5 from the Knights at their own 31-yard line. Back to punt, and the punting team for the Knights, number 21, Jay Golden. Back to receive for the Lancers is Dahlstrom and Schlebach. Golden will be kicking from his 20-yard line. The kick bounces dead at the North Scott 34-yard line, where the Lancers will take over 1st and 10 with 8:45 remaining in the game. A 48-yard punt for Jay Golden with no return. Jimmy DeFries is back in the game at quarterback for the Lancers. DeFries hands off to number 41, Chris Boyson, and he is stopped for no gain by number 54, Jeremiah Watson of the Knights. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Lancers from their own 34-yard line. Number 54, Jeremiah Watson, leading the charge there for the Knights. DeFries back in the shotgun. The snap, and DeFries keeps the ball himself around the right side. Picks up 3 yards to the 36-yard line. In on the stop for the Knights, number 7, Tom Carroll. Bring up a 3rd and 8 for the Lancers at their own 36. DeFries waiting for the snap. DeFries back to pass. His pass intended for number 47, Blake Anderson, falls incomplete. And that will bring up a 4th down for the Lancers at their own 36-yard line. And the punt team is in for the Lancers. Number 58, Tom Hofstetter, will be back to punt. And back to receive for the Knights, Ryan Byrne. And Ryan Langford. Ryan Byrne fields that punt, returns it to the Knight 34-yard line, where they'll take over 1st and 10 with 7 minutes to go in the 4th period. And on the stop for the Lancers, number 35, Chris Seitz. The clock is becoming a factor in the game, with Assumption down 20-6. Finn keeps the ball himself, quarterback Sean Finn, and he moves the ball across the 35-yard line, close to the 38, for a gain of about 4. We're going to bring up a 2nd and 6 for the Knights, and in on the stop for the Lancers, number 64, Jeremiah Clark. Sean Finn back in the shotgun. His pass intended out on the right flat, intended for number 6, Dan Tumshaw. And that fell incomplete, or it brings up a 3rd and 7 with 6:18 remaining. Number 7, Tom Carroll, split right. And Sean Finn's pass, intended for number 46, Ryan Langford, fell incomplete. Number 30 of the Lancers, Connor Dahlstrom, put on a good hit to help break that pass up. It brings up a 4th and 7 from the Knight 37th. And number 21, Jay Golden, will be back to punt for the Knights. Schlabach and Dahlstrom back to receive for the Lancers. It's a fake punt. Ball snapped to number 4. The short man, Ryan Zettel, and his pass intended out there for number 46. Ryan Langford fell incomplete. In on the stop there for the Lancers, number 21, Tanner Anderson, helped break up that pass. But Northcott will take over the ball, 1st and 10 at the Knight 37-yard line. We've got 6:07 remaining here in the game. Snap back to DeFries. Handoff goes to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom, and he's hit in the backfield immediately by number 79, Andrew Bush. Dahlstrom loses 4 yards, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 14 for the Lancers at the Knight 41, with 5:43 remaining in the game. We have an official's timeout. We have an equipment problem with one of the Knights. They're getting taken care of. With that taken care of, we're ready to start back in action. Again, Jimmy DeFries, number 9, the quarterback for the Lancers. Hands off to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom, around the right side. And he is stopped for a short gain. Stopped by number 46, Ryan Langford, and number 54, Jeremiah Watson. It'll be a 3rd and 10 for the Lancers at the Knight 38-yard line with 4:50 remaining in the game. We have a timeout. Lancers, their first timeout of the second half. So with 4:39 to go, it's North Scott 20 and the Assumption Knights 6. I've never seen. So a 3rd and 11 here for the Lancers with 4:39 to go. The snap back to Jimmy DeFries. He's back to pass. His pass intended for number 47. Blake Anderson falls incomplete. And that'll bring up a 4th and 11 at the Assumption 38. And on the coverage for the Assumption Knights, number 46, Ryan Langford. And Tom Hofstetter back in punt formation for the Lancers. Number 22, lone back to receive is Ryan Byrne of the Knights. Hofstetter's kick from the 47, a short pooch. And it goes out of bounds at about the 18-yard line, where the Knights will take over 1st and 10 with 4:28 remaining in the game. And the score is North Scott 20, the Knights 6. Sean Finn back at quarterback. He's in the shotgun formation. His handoff to the up back, number 43, Jordan Sinkler, for a short gain to the 19, a gain of 1. And on the stop, Tim Mullinex in on the stop for the Lancers. Again, it's 2nd and 9 from the Knight 19. Again, Finn is back in the shotgun formation. And his pass downfield intended for number 7, Tom Carroll. And that falls incomplete at the 50-yard line. And he is broken up on the play there by number 24, Ethan Russ of the Lancers. Just fell off his fingertips. So it'll be 3rd and 9 from the 19 for the Knights, with 3:43 remaining in the game. And Finn's handoff to number 22, Ryan Byrne, carries for a short gain to the 20-yard line. So it'll bring up a 4th and 8 for the Knights at their own 20. And it appears the punting team is coming on the field. And a lone back for the Lancers, number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. In on the stop for the Lancers on that last play is P.J. Mills. Jay Golden is back to kick for the Knights. This ball goes over his head into the end zone, and Jay Golden takes it out the back of the end zone for a safety. That makes the score North Scott 22 and the Knights 6. And when play resumes, an into kick, a free kick for the Assumption Knights. Number 21, Jay Golden, will be kicking off, and deep for the Lancers is number 30, Connor Dahlstrom, a lone back. Dahlstrom fields the kick at the 30-yard line, breaks a number of tackles and goes across the 30-yard line down to the Knight 27-yard line. Jay Golden, the kicker, saved the touchdown. And that'll make it 1st and 10 for the Lancers from the Knight 27-yard line. That was a 41-yard kickoff return. And Jimmy DeFries, the quarterback, hands off to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. He tries the middle. He stopped for a short gain, maybe a yard to the 26. Will bring up a 2nd and 9 at the Knight 26 with 2 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the ball game. In on the stop for the Knights, number 53, Sam Jervis. Again, DeFries back in the shotgun. Snap, hand off to number 30, Connor Dahlstrom. And he crosses the 20-yard line, where he is brought down at the 17-yard line. He is stopped by number 4, Ryan Zettel, and number 51, Drew Sheeter of the Knights. It'll be a 3rd and a short 1 from the Knight 18-yard line with 1:30 remaining in the half. The clock continues to run here, so it's 1:09. DeFries waiting for the snap. Handoff is to 30, Connor Dahlstrom. And he takes the ball down for a short gain. Good enough for the first down, so the North Scott will take over, or will have a first down at the 17-yard line with 46 seconds remaining in the game. And on the stop for the Knights there was Sam Jervis. And DeFries up under center now, just takes a knee. So they're just going to let the clock run down. There's 15 seconds. The clock will run out. So the final score here tonight at North Scott Lancer Field is North Scott 22 and the Assumption Knights 6. It was a great ball game. Just a beautiful night for a football game for the kids, for the fans. It was just a wonderful ball game. So again, the final score, North Scott 22 and Assumption 6.